සංසාර සාරෝග විනීතනි සං සන්නේත සාතං සුචිසාර දේසං සන්දේරකං සොන්න තනුපලාසං සංලාපදේසින් පනමේ විසාසං නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. Homage to the Exalted One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Venerable Sirs, Bhantes, nuns, friends in the Dhamma, good morning for everyone. Now we are going to start our Dhamma program in a dialogue program. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you with the blessings of the 𝒮𝓾, the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. May all your spiritual and educational goals meet its success by the power of the 𝒮𝓾. In this program, we especially do the very special thing which is inner dialogue. Inner dialogue means, I think, according to my understanding, how we think about the world and myself. And also, what happens to my mind at the moment. When we discuss the Buddha's message, in short, 𝒮𝓃 පරියෝදපනං, purifying one's mind. This is the message of the Buddha in short. Why do we need to purify our mind? Whenever our mind is polluted with negative thoughts such as craving, anger and delusion, we have no real happiness. That is why Buddhism has explained the path of purification of our minds. The main purpose of everyone who was born in this world is that Santutti, happiness or contentment. Santutti paramandanam. Contentment is the greatest treasure. We do everything in the name of happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. Here, when we think about our mind and mental situation at the moment, we can understand what happens to my mind at the moment. Whenever negative thoughts come to our mind, we immediately understand what are the thoughts that I have at the moment. And also, when our mind is very pure and calm, we immediately understand now my mind is very pure and calm. Entire Buddhism focuses on mindfulness. Mindfulness is the main doctrine in Buddhism. Finally, we can say 𝒮𝓃 the contemplation of mind. We are aware of our mind. Here, it is very important to understand the nature of our mind. We usually live in the present moment. When we contact something at the moment, we contact the world through our six senses, such as eye, ear, nose, so on. In the present situation, we can keep our mind pure and calm by practicing some samatha meditation techniques or concentration meditation techniques. That is the first thing that we do. The second one is reflecting on impermanence. arising and ceasing of our body and mind. When we are going to purify our mind, the very first step is that keeping our attention in the present moment with a pleasant mental object. That is the first step of our spiritual path. Then, in the second step, we reflect on impermanence. What is the impermanence? Impermanence means every moment our body arises and also our mind also arises and ceases. Finally, we can understand the very deep concept in Buddhism is that we can live in the present moment depending on the conventional truth in the material world. When we go to the deeper level, when we understand something in the present moment, the very first experience has already ceased. Especially the formal world, which consists with four fundamental elements: earth element, water element, fire element, and air elements. These are the four fundamental elements that we can see in the material world. These four fundamental elements, every moment, they arise and cease according to our present mental situation. They are not permanent. Every moment, they arise and cease. When we practice Dhamma, in first level, we keep our attention in the present moment depending on a particular meditation object, such as breathing meditation, metta bhavana, four fundamental elements. These are the meditation techniques that we use to concentrate our mind in the present moment, based on the conventional truth. That is not the absolute truth. This is only the second step of Buddhist path. The very first step is sila or virtue. The second one is concentration. The third one is wisdom. When we practice Dhamma, we should understand what step that now I practice. Sila, concentration, or wisdom. But these three things are interrelated with the understanding of the path. Before we start our spiritual path, first of all, we should know the path, the destination. That is very important. Buddhism says, Janato aham bhikkhave passato asavanam kayam vadami no ajanato no apassato. The Buddha says, I proclaim the liberation for those who know the path, who see the path. Knowing the path is very important before we start our spiritual path. For example, when you go to a place, never you have been there, first of all, you should need to know the place, address, where you are going to. Without knowing the path, you never start your car, your vehicle. The very first thing is that we should understand where I am going to, what is the destination. That is very important. Practicing Buddhism also like that. Our final destination is that releasing from the material world and also releasing from our internal world, mental formations. This is the final destination of our spiritual life, getting rid of suffering, reducing all the defilements. This is the final destination of our spiritual path. For that, Buddhism has explained 3 steps, 3 disciplines, Sila, Samadhi, and Panna. Sila means discipline in our speech and behavior. When we speak something, when we do something, we should think again and again whether it is correct. We do everything silently, mindfully, and slowly. The second one is samadhi or concentration. Keeping our attention in the present moment, used in a meditation technique, we concentrate our mind in the present moment. There are 40 meditation techniques in Buddhism that helps us to concentrate our mind, such as metta bhavana, loving kindness meditation, breathing meditation, dhatu manasikara, the contemplation of four fundamental elements, buddha anusati, the contemplation of the qualities of the Buddha. These are the meditation techniques that we use to concentrate our mind in the present moment. The purpose of practicing concentration meditation is to reduce hindrances, 5 hindrances. There are 5 hindrances that disturb our peace of mind. They are sensual pleasure, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, skeptical doubts. These are the hindrances that disturb our peace of mind. When we practice concentration meditation, we reduce these negativities from our mind. Then mind gradually gains concentration. With a concentrated mind, we reflect on impermanence, arising and ceasing of our body and mind. When we reflect on this reality, we release from the material world. If we can release our mind from the material world, it means we can release from aging, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation. Why is that? Whenever we are suffering, our mind depends on the material world or persons. If we can release our mind from the material world, it means our mind doesn't depend on any material thing or person in the world. Then our mind has no space for decay, sickness, death, sorrow, lamentation, so on. This is the very first step of our practice. Then finally, we release from even our mental formations to reflecting on arising and ceasing of our mind and mental objects. This is the Buddhist path in short. Again and again, in next days, we will discuss it with details. This is in short. However, in this discussion, we hope to practice some techniques in Buddhism. Especially, when we practice Dhamma, whatever we do as the practice of Dhamma, when we listen to Dhamma, when we preach Dhamma, when we discuss Dhamma, when we reflect on Dhamma, when we meditate, there are 5 places where we liberate from suffering. They are said as Vimutthayatana in Buddhism. Vimutthayatana means the places where we liberate from suffering. This is very, very important. You mostly think that my success of spiritual life is that when I am meditating while I am closing my eyes. That is only one way among 5 ways. That is very important. When you are listening to Dhamma, they are also an inner dialogue. When Buddha was alive, a lot of disciples attained enlightenment while they were listening to Dhamma, opening their eyes. That is very, very important. While you are listening to Dhamma, it should be clear Dhamma, correct Dhamma, real Dhamma. If you are listening to the correct Dhamma, this is also a place where you liberate from suffering. This is also an inner dialogue. Venerable Sariputta attained Sotapanna while he was listening to Dhamma, opening eyes. 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃, the very first ascetic people in Buddhism, attained Sotapanna and enlightenment while they were listening to Dhamma, opening eyes. Not only they were opening eyes, at the same time they were opening their wisdom. Therefore, friends in Dhamma, listening to Dhamma is not away from practice. Preaching Dhamma as a speaker, this is also a place where I practice Dhamma. In Buddha's time, there were some Buddhist monks who attained enlightenment while they were preaching Dhamma. Some monks came to the seat for the sermons as a 𝒮𝓃 person, as an ordinary person. When he finished sermon, he go away from the seat as a Sotapanna person who attained extreme entry. There were some monks who started their sermons as an Anagami person, not returning person. He finished his sermon as an Arahant. Refer 𝒮𝓾 Sutta. 𝒮𝓾 Sutta, Venerable 𝒮𝓾 came to the seat for the sermon as an Anagami person. End of the sermon, he attained enlightenment. At the same time, audience, all the monks who were listening to Dhamma, 60 monks, they attained enlightenment with the speaker, with the Bhante 𝒮𝓾. Therefore, whenever you are listening to Dhamma, that is an inner dialogue. When you preach Dhamma, that is also a place where you practice Dhamma. When you chant Dhamma, when you discuss Dhamma, when you meditate, closing your eyes, there are 5 ways that we can liberate from suffering. Here also, whenever you are listening to Dhamma, if you have clear understanding and attention, gradually you can purify your mind from negative thoughts. That is very important. When we practice Dhamma, entire Buddhism can be summarized as mindfulness. Mindfulness starts sati nimitta, mindful object. What is that? In Buddhism, when we refer mindfulness, it is very clear. Parimukkhana sati nupaṭṭapetva. We keep our attention in this area. Nasikaggyeva mukhanimitteva, around the nose or upper lip. We keep our attention in this area. Not looking through our eyes, but looking through our mind. Keeping our body in a particular posture, we keep our attention in this area. This is the way how we start our spiritual journey. We live in the present moment. It doesn't mean that we should close our eyes always. Even though we are opening our eyes, we can be mindful in the present moment. We keep our attention in this area. This is the first step of mindfulness. Then we know what happens to my body and mind. And also we can see the beauty of the environment. You can listen to the very beautiful songs of birds. You can feel the fresh air. You can feel your breathe in and out. Keeping our attention in this area around the nose of our lip, we can practice 40 meditation techniques, concentration meditation techniques. Not only that, if we are aware of the present moment, keeping our attention in this area, we can apply, we can practice the highest doctrines, highest teachings that we have already heard for our inner peace. Not only that, very special thing, when you away from sitting meditation, what happens to you? You again come to your sati nimitta. You are aware of the present moment, keeping your attention in this area. You do everything mindfully. You live in the present moment. Finally, we come to 𝒮𝓃 the contemplation of mind. We are fully aware of our mind. Whether my mind is angry or not angry. Whether my mind is lustful or not lustful. Whether my mind is ignorant or not. Whether my mind is liberated or not. This is the real inner dialogue. 𝒮𝓃 the contemplation of consciousness of mind is the greatest inner dialogue. Self-awareness. This is the freedom, liberation, emancipation, enlightenment, what Buddhism explains. Friends in the Dhamma, first of all, we are going to practice sati nimitta, being aware of our body and mind. We live in the present moment. Okay, please relax your body for practicing sati nimitta, or we train our mind to live in the present moment. Keeping our attention around the nose or upper lip. Relax your body, please. Straight your body. Be aware of your body posture that you are sitting here. From your legs to head and from your head to legs. Please have a deep breath in. Fill your lungs. Hold a few seconds. Breathe out slowly. Again, take a deep breath in. Hold a few seconds. Breathe out slowly. Okay, now I am going to practice Sati Nimitta, mindfulness object in the present moment. Please keep your attention around the nose or upper lip. I live in the present moment. I keep my full attention in the present moment. When I keep my attention in the present moment, I listen to the very present sounds at this moment. I feel very fresh air. My mind is so pleasant and calm. I keep my full attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. At the same time, you can apply your highest understanding of the Dhamma in this present moment. If you like to practice breathing meditation, you can apply it to this sati nimitta. If you like metta bhavana, you can apply it to here. If you are interested in insight meditation, vipassana bhavana, you can practice it keeping your attention in the present moment based on Sati Nimitta. If you like to continue Sati Nimitta, you can do it, keeping your attention in the present moment. You can keep your attention in the present moment. Okay. Now we are going to end practicing Sati Nimitta. But furthermore, we are aware of the present moment. With mindfulness, please open your eyes gently. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends in the Dhamma, Venerable says, here we practice the very first step of Buddhist meditation, mindfulness, which is Sati Nimitta. This is the way how we trained our mind to live in the present moment. Friends, we usually live in the past or future. Our beauty of life depends on living in the present moment. The present moment has no problems. Whenever we think something which happened in the past or which will be happening in the future with ignorance, there we have problems. It doesn't mean that we should forget our past or future. Buddhism never says us to forget anything. Forgetting something is a big mistake. It is a mistake. The main doctrine in Buddhism is that mindfulness. When we practice mindfulness, our memory gradually increases. Memory is not the problem. Problem is that ignorance or unmindfulness. When we think something which happened in the past, if we think it with ignorance, that is the cause of suffering. If we think something which will be happening in the future with ignorance, then defilements arise. Keeping our attention in the present moment, we can think anything in the past or future. But we know very well, now I live in the present moment. At the same time, we are reading our minds. What happens to my mind at the moment? Now you can share your experience about practicing mindfulness object. Satinimit. What is your experience? Did you feel something? What happens to your mind whenever you keep your attention in the present moment? Sorry? Yes. We liberate from craving and anger, not from ignorance. That is very important. Whenever we are aware of the present moment, we can liberate from attachment and anger. But still we have ignorance or delusion, avidya. We can overcome gradually ignorance, but the very first skill that we should cultivate is that keeping our attention in the present moment. We should train our mind to keep mind in the present moment. If we are clever to keep our attention in the present moment, when negative thoughts come to our mind, we immediately understand it. Here it is very important to understand. Whenever you read your mind, if you think that now my mind has anger, don't worry, you are in practice. If you know that now my mind has anger at this moment, it means you are in practice, you are successful. That is the nature of 𝒮𝓾 the contemplation of mind. 𝒮𝓾 ℒ𝒶𝓃 𝒮𝓾 ℒ𝒶𝓃 ℒ𝒂. When mind is angry, we immediately understand how my mind has anger. සදෝසං වා සරාගං වා චිත්තං සරාගං චිත්තං පජානාති. Whenever mind is lustful, we immediately understand now my mind has lust. Then gradually those negative feelings go away when we are aware of that. Finally we understand samohang va chittang samohang chittang pajanati. Whenever mind is ignorant, we immediately understand now my mind has ignorance. How do we recognize it? Whenever our mind depends on the material world or person, that is the sign of ignorance. We always think something with some forms or persons. When we remember something, we think that there is something outside, or there are some people in the outside world. That is true according to the conventional truth. But when we go to the deeper level, whenever we recognize something in the material world, that very first experience has already ceased. We read our own minds. When we read our own minds, the material world is not in the same way that we experience at that moment. This is the way how we recognize our mind, whether it is ignorant or not ignorant. But very first step is that when we are aware of our mind, when lust and anger come to our mind, we immediately understand it since we are aware of the present moment. And also we have liberated from the material world. It doesn't mean that we don't respond to the world. Actually, we can recognize the world. We can respond to the world. We can help the world. We can associate with others, but mindfully and wisely. The ordinary people always associate with the world depending on the outside world, external world. But we who practice Dhamma associate with the world, keeping our awareness in this area, inside. This is the real inner dialogue. Have any question? Now we are going to finish the first session of the meditation in this very early morning. Now you have 10 minutes break. After that, you can come back here. But please take care of your satinimitta. Don't lose it. Always be aware of your present moment, keeping your attention around the nose of Apali. Very softly, you can keep your attention in this area, having that awareness. You can walk, you can drink something, you can talk with someone, slowly and mindfully. Okay, please enjoy the present moment. Thank you so much for your good attention. Now you have 10 minutes break. After that we will meet again in the same place. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.